Okay, so you're thinking about picking up The Cat in the Hat, right? But is it really worth it? Is it more than just like, kid stuff?
Well, it definitely is a classic. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Right.
But, and this might surprise you, it's actually pretty controversial too.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, it sparked a ton of debate, actually. So today we're going to take a deep dive into it.
Awesome.
Think of this as a resource, for adults who are like, should I share this book with my kids? Should I revisit it myself? We're going to break it all time. Look at the writing style, the content, even compare it to some other famous children's books.
Okay, cool. So by the end of this deep dive, we'll know for sure whether The Cat in the Hat deserves a spot on the old bookshelf.
Exactly.
I'm intrigued already, gotta say.
Good. So first things first, we got to start with the basics.
All right.
This book, super limited vocabulary, only 223 words.
223. Wow.
Yeah, it was like a challenge for Dr. Seuss. Someone said, hey, can you write a book with only this many words?
Interesting.
And it's part of what makes it so unique, right?
Okay, so it's unique, sure. But, I mean, isn't that a bit too simple? 223 words?
That's the big question a lot of people have. I mean, that's part of the debate, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But think about it this way. Seuss took those words, all 223 of them, and he made these incredible rhymes.
True, yeah.
Like, I was just looking at the Goodreads description. They have this line. Then he said, that is that. And then he was gone with a tip of his hat. Come on, you know that one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's super catchy.
Totally. And that's kind of the point. But I can see how some parents might be thinking, well, is it really helping my kid learn new words?
Right, exactly. Like, is it challenging enough?
Exactly. And one Goodreads reviewer, Natalia, she brought that up. She wondered if, maybe the language is a little too massive for some kids.
Okay, yeah.
But here's the flip side. That simplicity is also kind of what makes the book great. You know what I mean? Think about it. A kid's learning to read, short words, fun rhymes. It makes it really accessible, right? And it can build their confidence, make them actually like reading, especially early on.
Okay, that makes sense. I guess it's about striking that balance, right? Like challenging them, but not overwhelming them.
Exactly. Now, where it gets really interesting is the actual story itself.
Oh, so it's not just the words, but the actual content that's causing all this controversy.
Well, the language might be simple, but the story, it's definitely raising some eyebrows.
Wait, really? I thought this was just a silly story about a cat making a mess.
Well, on the surface, yeah, but think about it. You got these two kids home alone, and this stranger, this cat, he just barges in,
Uh-oh.
turns their whole world upside down, makes a huge mess, doesn't listen to them at all. He even brings in these weird creatures, Thing 1 and Thing 2,
Oh, yeah.
to like wreak even more havoc.
Whoa, okay, I see what you mean about the controversy now.
And on Goodreads, some reviewers were not happy about this, like at all.
Yeah.
They pointed out the kids are totally unsupervised, the cat's behavior is like out of control. And then there's that whole thing at the end.
What, with the mom coming home?
Yeah, is it okay to hide that mess from her?
Ooh, good point. It does kind of make you wonder.
Right. And I mean, remember the fish?
Oh, yeah, the poor fish.
Always warning the kids, trying to be the voice of reason.
Totally.
But they just ignore him.
It's true. They never listen to the fish.
So you could even say the book is like a commentary on ignoring rules and consequences.
Huh. Never thought about it like that before.
See? There's more to it than meets the eye.
Definitely.
And that's just the beginning. Some reviewers went even deeper. They saw the cat as a symbol of rebellion, or even like a representation of out-of-control consumerism.
Okay, now we're getting deep. But how do they connect those ideas to the story exactly?
Well, think about it. He just comes barging in, into their nice, ordered world.
Right.
Total chaos, right? And he doesn't even ask, he just does what he wants, like totally ignores the rules. Poor fish.
Yeah.
Some people see that whole thing as like a statement, about society.
Oh, interesting. Like rebelling against all the rules and expectations.
Exactly, like all the things we're supposed to do.
Uh-huh.
And then there's that whole consumerism angle.
Yeah.
Think about it. The cat brings in all this stuff, right?
Yeah, Thing 1 and Thing 2, all those games and tricks.
It's all super flashy and exciting, but then
Big mess.
huge mess. And not just like, a mess in the house, but like maybe a mess in their lives.
I see what you mean. Like this idea that we always need more stuff, even if it doesn't really make us happy.
Exactly. And I mean, who knows if that's the Dr. Seuss was going for, but
Yeah.
it definitely adds a whole other level to the story, right? Makes you think.
Totally. It's like, even if it wasn't intentional, it makes you think about those bigger issues.
Right. And to really get it, to really understand what makes this book tick, it helps to compare it to other classics.
Oh, good idea. Like what?
Well, think about Goodnight Moon, for example.
Oh, yeah, totally different vibe.
Right. That one's all about like calming down, getting ready for bed, everything's super peaceful.
Very cozy and safe.
Exactly, or where the wild things are. You know, Max is dealing with all this anger. He goes on this crazy adventure.
Right, but he comes home in the end.
Exactly. Safe and sound, feeling loved.
Okay, yeah. Those books are all about feeling secure, finding comfort in routine.
Right, and The Cat in the Hat, it's like the opposite.
Oh, yeah, it's totally disruptive.
It throws all that out the window, brings in this chaos, this unpredictability, forces you to deal with it.
So instead of making kids feel safe, it's making them think, question things.
Yeah, maybe even feel a little uncomfortable.
Interesting. So that discomfort is actually like a good thing.
It can be, because it makes you think about stuff, right? Like boundaries, consequences, right and wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like one of those ink blot tests, you know? Everyone sees something different in it.
I like that.
So, I mean, this deep dive has totally changed how I see this book.
Me too. I'm starting to think maybe adults should be reading this just as much as kids.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, that brings us back to you, right? Our listener. We've looked at everything, the words, the story, all the different ways to interpret it.
So after all that, what's the verdict? Should we be giving this book to kids?
Here's the thing. It's not a simple yes or no, you know? It's a book that deserves a good look. It might challenge how you think about kids' books. It might make you laugh, and it might even spark some interesting conversations. But it's really up to you.
So it's not really about whether the book itself is good or bad. It's about the experience.
Exactly. And that experience is going to be different for everyone, right?
So it's not really a question of like, is this book good? It's more about what will my experience be?
Exactly. And, you know, that's what I think is so cool about it. There are just so many different ways to experience it, from like laughing at the silly rhymes
Yeah.
to like really thinking about all the deeper stuff, like society, human nature. It's all in there.
It's like Dr. Seuss tricked us and you open it up and it's all fun and games, but then, bam,
Right. There's all this other stuff going on.
makes you think.
So here's a question for you and for anyone listening too. What do you think makes this book so popular? Is it that simplicity, or was it all those deeper meanings we were talking about?
Maybe both.
Maybe. It's probably a little bit of everything.
Like the simple stuff makes it fun for everyone, but then all the other stuff, it gives you something to really think about.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a book you can grow with, you know?
I like that. And you know what? I think that little blogger, Zinnia, she had it right.
Oh, yeah.
She talked about imagination. And I think that's really what this book is all about. It might be a silly story about a cat making a mess, but underneath it all, there's this sense of wonder.
Totally. Like anything is possible.
Exactly. And that feeling, that stays with you long after you've closed the book.
For sure.
So there you have it, folks. That was The Cat in the Hat.
In a nutshell.
We really went deep today. We didn't just tell you what the book's about. We looked at everything.
Yeah, all the different angles, good, bad, everything in between.
And hopefully now you can decide for yourself. Is it worth reading? Is it worth sharing with your kids? It's up to you.
Exactly. But no matter what you decide, keep exploring, keep thinking about these things.
And keep that imagination going.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, happy reading. 64-9.